a citation. Now, how stupid is that?
For police sitting outside eating.
Yeah. So the police go there because the police get a good deal from the Buffalo Grill. They're not supporting Buffalo Grill people. They got free food. They're not supporting the grill. They just got free food. They're standing outside. Maybe, I don't know if it doesn't appear in the photo I've got.
Philip Brown says it was a fire marshal that wrote the citation.
See the table right there? It's a fire marshal that ought to have his head examined. Talk about giving Barney Fife an extra bullet. I mean, this is a guy that's got way too much. I'll show those policemen. I'm the fire marshal.
I'm guessing this guy has never, ever vacationed to New York City, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, anywhere in Europe where people are just jammed into places.
Right. I mean, the police were simply, it's not like the police were trying to break any, and by the way, hats off to our first responders. You know, they're not walking around with masks on and all that. These people are facing this deal head on. I look at it as you've got a handful of policemen show up. The grill says, hey, guys, we'll bring you out a sandwich. Should they all social distance back into their cars? And if they don't, as the faces of authority, should the fire marshal be writing up the restaurant owner?
Wendell Geigel says right after he got a free meal from the guy. I don't know if Rendell's being sarcastic.
Well, he said that the fire marshal
that's what I'm saying.
A free meal.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the sandwich. By the way, here, hold this. Yeah. It's your ticket. Discretion / common sense is lost during a pandemic. And that's exactly how the government creeps into your home and takes away your civil liberties. And you just go, oh, okay. You know, we stopped short of it in Texas, but many folks will be like, oh, there's virus in the air. You need my guns? Okay, here, you can have them. It's good for everybody. You can have them.
If you don't think parts of this country have turned into a police state.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
They've restricted our movement. You can't gather in public spaces.
Churches are told not to gather.
We're being fined for our actions.
We're being encouraged in professional radio ads to rat out our friends and neighbors.
That was my fourth point.
Unbelievable.
We may not be a totalitarian society at the moment, but we certainly have turned into somewhat of a police state.
If you see suspicious activity, tell someone. Call the authorities. Billy's got a friend over in the backyard. JP Hull joins us. John, good to see you there. We were just talking about Buffalo Grill. And
Vision Nelson says one more reason for Texas to secede. The problem is this is up in Houston.
Yeah,
we can't secede from ourselves.
That's right. It's just a lack of common sense.
The Vegas mayor getting absolutely chastised over the weekend on social media for wanting to reopen and
it's hard to have a dice game in social distance.
Well, it is. But people forget, this is a city that was founded. If not for gambling, Vegas doesn't exist.
Exactly.
There might not be a city in this country that has been hit harder by the shutdowns than Las Vegas, honestly, really.
I agree. And then when you look, Ash, when you look at the irrational, ignorant business decisions that are being made in the name of, well, we've got to do something. We must do something. In that vein, in that panic, emotion-based scenario, you've got to find some logic that says, hey, we just need to reopen. I'd rather die with my brain than live in panic and hoping for the next stimulus, hoping that somebody comes in and bails me out. Let's get back to work. I can tell you that of all of the elected officials that I have access to, all of them are tired of this. None None have said to me, no, we need to drag this out for a couple more months. Everybody's ready for this to be over with.
Yeah. Doug Ellisor checking in. Jeff Coleman, good morning. Randy Langston. Tell you who you need to call this morning if this wind pushes you into the ditch. Allen's Record Service, 578-6300.
That was good. It's quick. Sounds like you're hunting me. Oh, yeah, that was great, honey.
Yeah.
578-6300. Call Allen's Record Service. He'll come out and save your marriage. You know how dumb you look, men, when the car won't go? And I thought there was air in the spare. Call Allen's.
I thought we filled up with air.
Allen will come out and help you out. 578-6300. The VCS Company's Rocket Oilfield Services and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer, all on Kerr Boulevard.
We'll open up Friday when allowed to by the state.
You can go back in.
Only 25% of you.
There you go. Right. 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
People show up. Next. Not you. Next.
Yeah.
Not you.
Selective.
You're back in the line. The VCS Company is helping you with all your communications and all your surveillance and alarm system, everything you need. Cameras. I mean, I've got 1080p at the house in live time in color.
Nice.
With a zoom feature.
From your Video Doorbell Pro? No, you're
I've
better
got
than that.
cameras from the VCS Company. It's unbelievable. You can pick up your phone, scroll in. I can read the license plate on the car. Kids come to egg the house. I go, oh, look, there's Billy. Isn't he cute? Billy needs to work. He's got to get that delivery more over the top. When they egg the house, it's no big deal. I've got it. Got it all on tape. Cheswick Furniture Company, folks, celebrating 100 years in downtown.
Has your house been egged?
Never.
No.
Because I have a turret and an AR-15 and a 14, Joe Biden model. Cheswick Furniture, 100 years in downtown Victoria. Get down there, 116 West Juan Lynn, the corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge, right there by Santa Rosa. 50% off furniture as they celebrate 100 years. Bobby Leon was just a mere child when the business was founded. Now, his granddad started the business in 1920. Seems like so long ago. Get down there and
It was so long ago.
Furniture. See if you were listening. Appliances, accoutrement for our Canadian friends from Ontario. Get down there.
Jeremy Pena says you have a turret, but you can't shoot.
Right. No, my job at that point, though, at that range is
Scare them.
32-inch barrel and 4-shot. I just want them to feel like a duck.
50 millimeter.
Right.
Just one.
Semi-automatic assault weapon.
Your AK-92.
Yep. Look at that. Uncle Norm says rough night of high wind, rain, and storms in Frisco. Well, Norm, it's made it down here. It went to Waco and took a left, and it's down here with us.
We're getting it this morning. I think the wind's slowly dying down. There's my beautiful wife, Cheryl, checking in. Might be a good opportunity to tell you about Gray Barn Design. If you've got a wedding, birthday,
920-6803.
give her a call.
920.
You can connect via Facebook. Check out the Facebook page and just search Gray Barn Design and reach out that way if you need to.
920-6803.
So make any event absolutely memorable.
James Kurth and Jeremy Pena talking about muscle memory and teaching me how to shoot. You know, I've got a shooting coach. Sheriff A.J. Loudermilk.
Yeah.
It's my shooting coach. We haven't done any classes yet. But I feel like,
I thought he told me he quit because there was no hope for you.
well, I'll tell you something. I've told you this story. It's a great story. But I met Byron Nelson, visited with Byron Nelson. I shook his hand and my handicap went down 3 strokes. Just meeting Sheriff Loudermilk, I'm all of a sudden shooting tighter patterns. No kidding.
Didn't you just walk up to Byron Nelson's house and
I called from a cell phone. I called information and got a hold of Mrs. Nelson, Peggy. And I had a few names that I could inject into the conversation. Well, Byron's in his shop. Why don't you just come on by the house?
Where's the house? Remind me again.
She goes, take a left. Where are you? I said, I'm at this convenience store. She goes, well, look at the sign right there. It was Byron Nelson Boulevard. Took a left, went up to the house. He said, it's hot. Let's go inside and have a glass of lemonade.
Nice.
Yes, sir. I sat on the ottoman. He was 90. I sat on the ottoman at the foot of his chair. Behind him was a replica of the plaque that's on Byron Nelson Bridge in Augusta. I think I was visibly emotional
I
just
can
being
imagine.
in his room. Awesome. Awesome gentleman. Fine, fine man. Very patient.
Obviously very trusting. Let a complete stranger into his house.
Like I said, I knew some people. That knew
It
some
don't
people,
matter.
But yes,
Find all
absolutely.
that out on the internet.
I was well coiffed. I looked nice at the moment.
HR says, Sheriff Lauterbach took your gun and gave you a whistle.
Right? Hey, true story though. I actually got a return visit the next time I was that way. I was invited back.
Nice.
It was very cool. I've got a serious notes. He autographed a book for me and all this stuff. I think I stole some stuff. I took the Wanamaker trophy.
Joe McNeil checking in. Good morning to you, sir.
As I was leaving, and I had the PGA champion, had the Wanamaker under my shirt. People were like, Peggy was like, are you okay? Yeah, it's just that little groove.
Popped out of nowhere. I better get this checked.
Super. I've had a number of those little things through the years but no finer gentleman than Byron Nelson.
Sad news out of Calgary the other day. Russ Peak, who was a longtime sportscaster in Calgary and was the PA voice of the Calgary Flames from the time they got there until I think like 96 or even longer, maybe into the 2000s actually, but was on CFCN Sports in Calgary. I think he was even the PA announcer for the old WHA Calgary Cowboys in the 70s. Died. He was 80 years old the other day, but a lot of guys that I know in the business, he kind of tutored them and mentored them. When I was in college, I got a chance to talk to him. Always had time for young budding broadcasters who wanted to get into the business, answered their questions. Wasn't one of those guys who had made it and let you know it. And there were a few of those around Calgary,
Sure.
But he wasn't one of them. And so when I got word that Russ had passed away the other day, it was took me back, but maybe realize how thankful I was to have the exposure to somebody like that who took the time to answer
Absolutely.
questions and talk to a young budding broadcaster.
There's Jim Hartman checking in. Good morning, Mr.
May
Hartman.
not have done me any good, but
No, it's good. It's always good to have those brushes with people who've been there and done that, like J Dub. J Dub's in the
well,
house.
and J Dub would know Russ because Russ was the longtime voice of the chuck wagon races during the Calgary Stampede. And J Dub's still in mourning over the fact
You ever
that the
noticed how
Calgary
much-
Stampede is canceled for this year.
Ever noticed how much Calgary seems to want to be like Texas? Which I think is a good
Texas
thing.
Light.
It's admirable.
I think at one point, I don't know if it's still true, Calgary had more American expats than any other city in the world outside of cities with Air Force bases or
Wasn't that
military
the early
installations.
70s during the Vietnam War?
Yeah, maybe so.
Hey, tip of the cap this morning to our friend Don Brubaker. Going to be the.
Trey Molina called Cheryl, and she's helping with an event down there in Corpus Christi. So
Oh,
there
that's
you go.
awesome, Trey.
Thank you, Trey.
That's awesome.
Keith Madden checking in, Amanda Blosky, Joel Gomez.
Can we get back to my tip of the
Yeah.
cap? Tip of the cap to our own multi-decade, over 3 decades, Don Brubaker. Going to move into the permanent 5 and 6 o'clock news anchor. We like Don. We don't consider the television a competing media. They're just television.
Wow, does that change the sports coverage landscape in this town
Could.
in a huge way?
The timing
Good
is
for
good.
Don.
Since there's no sports, the
Yeah.
timing's great.
Yeah, exactly.
That's almost like a vote that says, hey, you get to keep your job. We're moving you over to
News.
full-time anchor. But he's great. and Don's been around so long that his office does smell of leather and old books.
Think about one of his first gigs in that anchor chair. He interviewed Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Nowhere
to go but
of the
down
hair
from there.
Or face.
Jeff Meyer checking in. Good morning to you, sir.
Hello, Jeff. So James Kurth just tagged Keith Kurth.
Must be related.
Right. The odds are good.
So it looks like the first quarter GDP report is going to come out today. They're saying like minus 5%.
Yeah, not good, but not surprising.
No, not at all.
No surprises.
Ford says they've lost $2 billion this quarter alone. Tesla saying they're going to see a loss.
Tesla hadn't had a profit ever.
Yeah, I think they were hoping.
Interesting.
They were hoping for one this year.
You're going to hear a lot of that. In 30 years, you're going to hear a lot of like young grandparents going, well, we were right on the cusp. The economy was good.
Yeah.
The border was under control. And then that damn COVID came in. We lost it all.
This will be our Great Depression stories.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People that never had a job. Yeah, I was right there. I was right there. COVID got me. Yep. Gave me this bum hip. Granddad, why do you limp? COVID, son.
All I could do was lay in bed all day because I couldn't go anywhere.
It was the big one back in 20.
I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. All I did was lay in bed and got bed sores. I got infected. I couldn't go see my doctor because I wasn't allowed to have elective procedures done.
Right.
Got infected.
It's all downhill from there.
All I could do was squirt it with saline and betadine.
And take some Robitussin.
Rub some Robitussin on it.
Vicks Vapor Rub.
That burned.
I mixed them together. The treatment was worse than the affliction. Let me tell you something. If anybody in this country is going to finally get tired of it, it's going to be Texans. I'm convinced that Texas is about done with this. And Greg Abbott's starting to look a little bit like a little mamby-pamby. He is. And I voted for him. 14 times now I voted for Greg Abbott. It's the way it feels. I'm just telling you that this deal of, I don't know. It's frustrating.
It is.
This is garbage. It's time to move on. And by the way, I'm at the point now, everybody's like, oh, there's going to be a second wave. Hey, man, people are going to die. Guess what? People are still dying. Just nobody's dying of anything but COVID right now. There has not been a lung cancer-related death in New York in 2 months.
How about that idiot reporter that basically accused President Trump of being responsible for 56,000 deaths?
Oh, yeah, it's his fault.
Yeah.
Sure. Didn't close the border soon enough, or whatever that was.
Didn't have enough ventilators on hand.
Yep, that's the federal government's job. You see, folks,
didn't have enough PPE in a hospital.
We've taken everything that you would call civic responsibility, municipal responsibility, and we've
corporate responsibility
all back on the government. Nothing is ever our fault. We're not taking blame for anything. We're not taking blame for not having enough money in the bank. We're not taking blame for not having a line of credit at the bank. We're going to shove that back on the federal government. You've got to do something. You've got to. Because I'm entitled. You owe me. It is a bad, bad, bad precursor to just accepted socialism. We'll just give everything we make to the government, and the government will help us all out by giving it back to us. After they take their rake and Nancy Pelosi lives in a gated estate.
It's been real interesting to see the folks that don't want socialized medicine be the first ones to blame the government for not being ready to help hospitals face this crisis.
Well, exactly.
And if nobody sees the hypocrisy in that, you're blinded
absolutely
to common sense. Because the ironic thing is there isn't a one-payer system anywhere in the world that was ready to deal with this pandemic. Yeah. And even if the Chinese hadn't lied about it until January, there isn't a hospital, healthcare system, regardless of where you are, that would have been ready to handle this because we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know exactly what it was doing. I mean, there's no way you can get ready, and you can't have 50,000 ventilators sitting in a storeroom somewhere because just if you can't build a 10,000 bed ICU because what if?
Right. Taxpayers
It just-
didn't stand for it.
Private healthcare companies couldn't do it. They'd be broke the minute that hospital opened its doors because they wouldn't be able to keep it going. I mean, the ability to actually rationalize some of this stuff has just been blown out of people's windows with COVID.
And sadly, the numbers just don't bear out the hysteria. I mean, thankfully, not that many.
Not yet.
It's gonna happen.
The second wave is coming.
And I get it that I don't remember exactly when the analogy fell apart. And people said it's just not fair to compare it to the flu because it's totally different, except on the bottom line. 56,000 dead Americans. It was a really bad day in the Civil War. 56,000 dead Americans was a bad day in the South. But understand this, 56,000 people out of 327 million people just ain't that big a deal. I'm sorry that it's just not. Swine flu killed more, H1N1 killed more.
Well, it's funny. We can't compare this to flus, but then they can. The last week, I can't tell you how many articles I've read that compare this to the pandemic of 1918 and the Spanish flu. But what you just said, you just told me you couldn't compare it to a flu, and now you compare it to a flu.
The virus.
I'm so confused.
A virus is a virus to me. Now,
viruses are going to do what viruses are going to do.
Right. Dr. Missy Madden Klimacheck checks in and says, Hillary said her endorsement of Sleepy Joe, I lost part of it, said during her endorsement of Sleepy Joe that this pandemic was a perfect opportunity to push their socialized health care. We're going to have to listen to the irrational line of thought. Yeah, you're going to have to listen to that until there's a vaccine for sure. What's interesting is if you had socialized health care, what you would find out is they wouldn't have enough masks, they wouldn't have enough ventilators, they wouldn't have enough rooms, and they would blame it on you. You didn't give us enough tax money.
Yeah, well, we don't have that now.
Right. How about that? Trey Molina shares. Remember a week ago we talked about schools like St. Ed's in Austin doing away with sports programs. Now, St. Ed's has welcomed 6 programs back and says they have to raise their own funds.
Gave them 5 years to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think we called that, didn't we? Didn't we say that they'll probably end up getting allowed to become back, but they're going to have to raise the money to do it?
That's crazy.
We ran the math. There's going to be some questions asked, I'm certain, by alums up there when
they're doing like $200 million a year in revenue.
On paper, they should be, but I'm sure there's a lot of discount rates and such going on that private institutions are able to do that.
$3 billion with the stimulus money.
Yeah. So
unbelievable.
Tammy Darlene checking in.
Howdy, Ash. Hey, Ash. Tammy Darlene checks in. Hey, Ash.
There you go.
What is this? Is that like a friend of yours from Canada?
Yeah.
Hey, Tammy, I'm here too. What am I, chopped liver?
Yes, you are. We've already gone over this. You don't remember? A couple of weeks ago when you got mad at her the first time.
What a spare. Go find Pete Montana up there. Listen to Pete. It's just one guy. You say, howdy, Pete. It's just one guy. We're a team here, me and Ash. I demand my propas.
He's been owly all week.
Right.
He'll be better next week. Just bear with him.
He's been owly?
Owly.
Oh, owly. Folks, Wednesday's the day. Call Veracruz. I don't know if they have Caldo. We've never confirmed they had Caldo to go or not.
Yeah. I think they have their whole menu, so probably.
They probably can. Wednesday's Caldo day at Veracruz. I'll tell you something I'm very proud of.
Very true, HR. Very true.
And I know that, did he say I'm salty?
I said you're not Canadian. Tammy Darlene was.
Watch. I'm not kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're as close to it as you can get.
Veracruz right now, though. Call Veracruz later this morning. Get your to-go. They'll bring it to you curbside. You can pay for it over the phone. You'll be glad that you called Veracruz. They're thriving in the situation. In fact, Veracruz has said that under this new guideline of only 25% capacity, they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. And it seems to be working for them and their patients. I said, them and their clientele.
Patience.
So reach out to them. I got another one for you. The Atzenhower dealership, just quite simply Victoria's dealer since 1926. Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi. You've got all the pre-owned vehicles over there, high-end, beautiful pre-owned vehicles, all the paint and body, all the service, all the vehicular accoutrement, and right now to support small business, if you buy any new or pre-owned vehicle at Atzenhower, they're going to give you a $20 gift card to Veracruz, which is right across the street.
You could drive your new car.
Right over there.
New pre-owned, new to you car, right across the street.
That's exactly right. And that's awesome.
I would recommend maybe taking a right out of the parking lot, going down a ways, finding it, then maybe turning at Airline and coming back and then back at Navarro, because you don't want to take that new vehicle and go across 7 lanes.
But look at it like this. If you just walk for no reason straight across and you get hit by a car, chances are somebody will raise to our city that they should spend $1.5 million and build a crosswalk there for you. If you just choose to walk straight through the traffic and you get offed by a bus, the city of Victoria will probably be all up in arms and try to put a little crosswalk there for you. That's brilliant. That's what we do for every other idiot that walks across the street and gets hit by a car.
I saw a guy the other morning, Navarro and Airline at the CVS there.
Right.
He was, I kid you not, he was 10 yards from the corner and he decides to go cutting across the street. He couldn't have walked the extra 10 yards.
Right, to the light. A
first down is all it would have taken him to get to the corner and use the light to cross the street properly.
That must be the problem. Was he wearing a cowboy shirt?
No,
couldn't
get
that first down. Just decided to cross now.
So he decided, and granted it was the morning, but there was still some traffic to dodge. He decided he'd take his chances and dodge the traffic in the early morning dawn light, and he's wearing dark clothing.
Did you get him with the
mirror? No, I just missed him.
It's 500 points. You get him with the mirror.
I know. Yeah, but we digress.
James Kirsch said, "Good morning, honey." Thanks.
Sort of T-lat.
Thank you, sweet Dawn. Thank you, Dawn. Did she actually?
Yeah, she did earlier. Yeah. I should have. Yeah, BJ. I should have called the snitch line and got him for jaywalking.
You should have snitched on. There's Joe Mitchell. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Pro. You got a GoPro? That's Joe Pro. Razor IT Solutions, reach out to John Paul Hull. Understand what's going on your Facebook. Understand who's checking in on your webpage. Be paranoid. Let JP put you at ease. Reach out and study your analytics. Learn how to put a pay window on your website. I'm thinking about doing it just to see.
See what happens?
Like a GoFundMe account. Just put it on my page and just see what happens.
PayPal it.
Yeah. Except Venmo. I don't want.
There's a few others. I don't even know them all anymore. New ones pop up all the time.
No cash.
I think you can do PayPal.me too or something and get it like straight to your phone.
Love it. I want people to be able to pay me efficiently.
Joe Mitchell's got to be happy. Golf's now back to be able to open up.
I got news for you. They've been playing at a country club all the time. They're like, neener, you can't come on our private property. Everybody at country club's got their own cart anyway.
True.
You know, they don't care.
And they don't ride with anybody because the passenger seat.
It's got the cooler.
It's got the cooler.
Sure. And a couple extra dozen Titleists.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. White Trash Services, 550-1826. Call today. Reach out to the boss. You can call the boss.
Talk one of those awkward dude moments.
Yeah. I had my hand down. He put his hand on top of it. I liked it. It seems weird. It's early. Reach out to BJ Nelson, Scott Nelson, or the Roll-Off Queen. If you've got a big project and want a roll-off dumpster, call them. They will deliver. Don't call them till you want it, because they will deliver.
Yeah, they will.
550-1826.
They got a roll-off special, so give them a call.
There you go.
What's the number again?
550-1826.
Awesome.
We're reaching out to Compadres Design now, trying to get some new swag. I've got a call into Chris Soule. By the way, if Chris hasn't called me back yet, that's okay, because he's Chris Soule. But he will.
Might as well get our last one out of the way since we already talked about Gray Barn Design. So don't forget Uncle Mutt's Barbecue.
Nothing like getting our sponsors out of the way.
No. Well, we can roll into the rest of the show.
Sure. How much time we got?
23 minutes.
Could be tough.
No, 18 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
I got a message here from Clayton Hill. Let's see what that says. Call me today. I need some insurance.
There you go.
Like that. Clayton Hill, the SCT building
Look
system.
at that. BJ Nelson says the roll-offs are rocking. Must be because of us.
That's something you know. And don't take this for granted either, folks. When you're dealing with contractors, look at SCT Building Systems. Clayton and Casey Health, they run their business like a business. They have insurance. They have people. They're not just subbing everything out. This is a legitimate, small, local business. Can build you a barn dominium, she shed.
He shed,
They got them all.
man cave.
They can do it. Bricks and sticks, concrete form, whatever you want. They can also tell you the best building method for your application.
And your budget.
So reach out to Clayton Casey. That's going to be 564-8864.
Look at Joe Mitchell. He says he's having Uncle Mutt's for dinner.
There you go.
Monica Jones did say that she did get Caldo at Veracruz last Wednesday. So there you go.
And Joe, when you go through, and I know you folks do this, and it really does mean the world to us, and it doesn't take a lot of sense to know why. When you go through Uncle Mutt's, go, hey, your friends at Wade and Carter sent me. It matters. I love for our sponsors to get the feedback that our advertising for them actually works. We know it does. I mean, there's no way.
And we tell them so.
There's no way. Veracruz has sold more enchilada casseroles since this started. Ida just said, you can't believe how many enchilada casseroles. I said, yeah, I can. We've been talking about it. I do believe that radio works.
Yeah, we planted it in everybody's brain beforehand.
Absolutely.
James Kerr says he's rolling over to White Trash Services next billing cycle. So there you go.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I kind of helped broker that deal. They were talking back and forth. I'm not being silly. They were talking back and forth. I told BJ, you need to get James Kerr's business. And Kerr said, hey, I'm kind of negotiating with them. I said, just give her the deal. Tell her you want the deal. You want the best deal you can get, and just make it happen. And I'm glad they did. Good job.
There's Brent Anderson checking in.
Awesome. He had a birthday the other day.
I know. I wish he
He's
was
like
birthday.
58-ish.
Really?
Yeah.
He's your age?
Older.
He doesn't look anywhere near your age.
I know. Well, he swims. If I spent that much time in the water, I'd have gills. Unbelievable.
Oh, man. What else is happening? Let's see. Who else?
I think
The Iceman says they're hitting the White Trash Service as soon as they are able to get the city. Megan Longoria checking in this morning. I saw my daughter Tyler joining us.
Hi, Tyler. I think we're up and running on YouTube again.
Yeah, we are. He was able to get it up and going. So don't forget to subscribe.
Help us get to 1,000. See if you see what our number is. Yesterday was 35.
I'll have to look. I'll have to end the stream to do it.
Do
so
you?
I don't want to do it. I think. I don't know. Probably not, but I don't know how to do it otherwise. So
Is this shirt making me
Good for
look
now.
fat?
no.
The fact that I'm fat makes
Yeah,
me look
that's
fat, right?
so
Wait, weather report. Clayton Hill says,
Yeah.
thank God for the rain.
yeah. James Kerr says, how about those UFOs? We were going to get to that because the footage was weird. You could see something. Couldn't really, I mean, obviously it fits the definition of a UFO, unidentified flying object.
Right.
You know, not sure it's otherworldly. The way some of these things were moving would have you believe so.
You know, when you see something go and immediately turn, or when it's like an oblong object and then it rotates, but it's
Yeah.
still flying. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that ever made corners like that, remember Quantum Leap? When Scott Bakula was in the car and they turned the corner and ended up against the window?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it looked like.
That's kind of what it looks like. Trying to think, there was a video game console model that was Tron. Tron, you did that when you were riding the motorcycle in the video game back in the 80s.
It does make you wonder, though. You know, I don't know where I fall in with. Is it otherworldly? By the way, I don't. You hear people all the time go, "Well, I just don't believe in that because I believe in God." I mean, I don't think there's anywhere in the Bible says we're the only people out here.
No, he just created us.
Right. It doesn't mean that we're the only people out here. I mean, there could be, and there's just too many ancient signs. When you see indigenous peoples who have similar designs on different continents.
Well, that was when we were one big landmass.
Even
Then
if
we
we
drifted
were, think about it. The average, these were thousands of miles apart. Some of this stuff makes you believe.
And think of their hieroglyphics and the stories they've told. They've been seeing similar type beings.
Yeah.
And
Thousands
flying
of
vessels for as long as they've been on this planet.
Sure. And it makes you wonder, you know, I don't know if I believe in little green men. I don't think I do. But I asked you this morning, why is it, folks, that when we think of UFOs, we don't ever think of some rickety old spaceship that just barely makes it into our atmosphere. We always picture something
It's not the Clampets.
No.
Loading up and moving to Beverly.
They're bigger, stronger, faster. They fly in, they zap us with lasers. They
Freaking laser beams, people.
They're smarter than we are. That's what we always, accept. And yet,
well, I'll tell you why. At least from the flying part, because these machines that come in and that people have seen, they do things that our flying machines can't do.
Right.
That's
true. And this is what gets me. The credibility of like a naval aviator to say, did you see that thing? It was going about Mach 3 and it was going straight up. These are people that are trained
to spot things,
and they've got no motivation to make it up. Not to mention the government wouldn't put it. I don't think the government would put it out there if it was.
And these videos are 16 years old. They're from the mid 2000s. And then you saw the one. I don't know if you saw it. It looked like something was right on the water, and the naval airman was trying to lock onto it and couldn't for a while.
And
it tells you how fast that thing was going.
He couldn't get lock on it. Like in an F-18, he couldn't get. If it would have been another plane, it would have had an advantage over our aircraft.
And then they finally got locked on it, and they kind of celebrated it. But that thing was moving, and they were saying 120 knot
wind.
Yeah. Into. Whew.
And it was just screaming fast. And they were
right on the surface.
They were laughing about it.
Yeah. Made a joke. Think about it. This was like from 2004, I think, or 2008, somewhere there. And they made a joke that it was a drone. Drones were barely in existence back then.
Yeah, as far as we knew.
Yeah.
See, that's what it tells you, too, is you never know what it is. You're right. 2002, it was a drone. We don't believe it. And then now you look forward, and it's like, oh, so in 10 years, we may know something else that was out there.
James Kerr says those videos are typically kept under secret or even top secret classification. Yeah, these were released because and they'd been leaked previously, or some of them had, but the Pentagon finally declassified them and leaked them out there. And the Pentagon actually said, yeah, these are unidentified flying objects. They admitted their existence, which they've really never done.
Yeah, they said it's not that uncommon.
No. But it was what's his name, the drummer from Blink-182 that had made the Freedom of Information Request Act and got these things released. Travis Barker, is that his name? I think so.
I don't know.
Can't remember. But those videos are pretty cool, and nobody's talking about that. That's how wrapped up we are in COVID. That you have declassified videos the Pentagon released, and the Pentagon came and admitted, yep, these are UFOs. Nothing. Nobody.
Yeah.
You and me. A couple others. Conspiracy theorists out there talking about this. That's it.
Being piloted by James Dean.
And Elvis.
Right. Marilyn Monroe. Bobby Kennedy.
Man, I tried to get Chase Brown to call in. Speaking of Vegas and Elvis and James Dean and UFOs, because, we're in the neighborhood, with
he shined us.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's probably not up at this point because
it's 5 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's probably just going to bed. Maybe he might still be up. But
legit point.
If you remember Chase Brown from here, always played Downtown Bar and Grill. He played Moonshines. Played all over the area. Travis Barker, I think that's what I said. Thanks, Iceman. He moved to Vegas a few years ago. He's been performing there. Been performing with I think Vince Neil's club. I think he's done some stuff with Toby Keith's bar out there, but he's got his own band out there. And he's been doing Facebook performances. We talked about that the other day. Well, the other day he took his Facebook performance to the Strip in Vegas in the back of a pickup truck, moving along the Strip, and basically gave an impromptu performance for the Las Vegas PD because they pulled him over in the process. And
he just didn't waste that footage.
I tell you what, genius marketing, and he was singing and performing, and he sounded good. And
did he get arrested?
I don't think he got arrested. I don't even know he got cited, but
he would have if he'd have been at Buffalo Grill.
Probably.
But give him a ticket.
But he didn't have the ladder in the back of the pickup truck. No, he wasn't that. But I give him credit for getting out there and getting his name. I mean, in a city where your name is hard to differentiate from all the other performers in Vegas, kind of like trying to make it on Broadway, right? I give Chase a ton of credit for doing this.
That's awesome.
He's now differentiated himself. He's going to be forever known as the guy that broke the COVID rules and was singing in a pickup truck on the Strip.
I mean, you've got your choices in Vegas. Honey, you want to go see the Eagles, Elton John, or Chase Brown?
Yeah.
Let's go see the guy that was in the back of that truck. That guy's crazy.
Exactly.
Let's go see him.
Exactly. Well, we know what we're going to get out of the Eagles. A bunch of songs we played over and over on our Eagles' greatest hits.
Exactly.
We don't know what we're going to get out of Chase. This is a guy with a ladder and performed in the back of a truck on the Strip. What could he do live?
Awesome.
So, got to give him credit for that. I tried to get him to call in and gave him the number, but I don't think he's awake yet. But maybe he'll call in and give us all the backstory and the details and the dirt.
What would Chris Berman call it? Back story.
Exactly. So I give him credit for clever marketing, and he got played. National media picked this up. Andy Cohen, who does a show on Sirius XM, was tweeting about it. I don't know if he got him on the show or not. Maybe that's why he didn't call us, because he's on Andy Cohen.
He's on a big time deal.
Exactly. But he was in the Las Vegas paper. He got play in Vegas. I mean,
is Andy Cohen? Is he the guy that you're like, look at me when I'm talking to you? Is Cohen the guy with the wandering eye?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. Dark-headed guy, probably about 50.
No, Andy Cohen's younger than that, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I just listen to his show every once in a while. I never.
You don't ever watch him anymore. Set eyes on him?
No. So we tried to get Chris Jansen to call in a little bit earlier. He's, of course, Beefmaster producer here. But President Trump declared the meat packing industry critical infrastructure. The unions are up in arms, and of course they are, because you're putting cold cuts ahead of people's safety.
Stupid.
From what I've gathered from this, the only ones really making any money right now, from the fact that we've kind of put a stranglehold on the beef, aren't the producers. It's the processors and those who then sell it to the HEBs and the Albertsons and such, right?
Your daughter Tyler knows. Tyler, he's the guy. He's the guy with the wandering eye. He does. He has a wandering eye.
He created the Real Housewives.
Doesn't make him a bad guy. He's got the wandering eye.
This one.
Just want to slap him and go, look at him.
Yeah, well, I don't watch Real Housewives, so there you go.
Yeah.
He's got his own Sirius XM.
It must not be raining right now, because the brother man says it's raining.
Yeah.
Gary Moses weather update.
He's a little wet. He's got so much starch, though, it just runs straight off. It's like wearing a canvas. It's like the old canvas tents.
If you go to
Gary's, don't touch it.
It says, light, medium, heavy, stucco. He wears a stucco starched shirt. The material's half an inch thick. That stuff is so they slather it on with a trowel. Could you trowel my shirts into a heavy starch, please?
What's the can of starch you can buy?
Yeah, it's the spray starch.
Yeah,
is it Niagara?
I don't remember. His comes in a mixer on the back of a pickup.
If you want your shirt super hard, use Viagra. Viagra spray starch. Yes.
Exactly. So yeah, so now they're politicizing the fact that we're facing a meat shortage, and I mean, let's face it, I think 70% of all the meat that's produced in Canada is out of 2 plants that have been hit hard with 75% of the employees
Right.
with COVID.
So now all of a sudden, by the way,
I think there's a
cows-
chicken plant in Texas where a bunch of them got COVID.
but cows don't have an expiration date. It's not like we've got to kill these cows now and put them down because
No, but what does is the supply chain, because you can't move them back out of the feedlot because you've got cows behind them in the feedlot. Now you start stacking up the cows. Now your producers aren't able to get them to the feedlot to sale. I mean, it backs it up. So what are you going to do with them?
The feed, like, you've got to put them down.
Oh, well, unfortunately, that's what
That's what's happening.
it's cheaper to do that than put them back in, bring more feed in, and hold them because you're not going to sell them for anything at that point.
Yeah.
You have so many cows sitting there. Bring them to the 2-4. We'll put them
Cut
up.
them up with chainsaws and give them to the homeless.
Well, some are starting to do that.
And why not? Why not give that
Yeah.
food to people that need it?
Yeah. I can take
Suspend all the contracts for a while. Don't worry about the institutional sales.
we'll take a couple at the 2-4. They'll never die.
You know what's funny? If the Iceman showed
We
up
rescue
with
dogs. We might as well rescue a couple of cows too.
a half a cow hanging in the back of the ice truck, you'd find a way to get that dude carved up and put it into the fridge. You know you would. That's some brontosaurus ribs.
PJ Nelson says Devils is selling meat to the public.
There you go. Cheryl probably. Here's the problem out of the 2-4. Cheryl would buy a cow with full intent to put it down and have steaks, and next thing you know, we'd be calling it, Leroy, and it would just live out in the field
True
until
story.
it was old.
She didn't talk to me for a day when I joked that, what are we going to do with the lockdown? I said, well, we got 3 cows in the front pasture. Ooh, that was the wrong joke to
Let me
make.
tell you something, Brother G.
Yes, sir.
Ash Wade and his lovely bride Cheryl last week performed surgery on a chicken. Now I'm not exaggerating. And look, he's just going to stand here. He can't say a word because he knows I'm telling the truth.
I can tell you, I can clarify a little bit. I really didn't perform anything. I held the light so she could see.
Did she do it?
The
Wow.
chicken
Stunk.
apparently, Ash said that the chicken had a tumor. It has now been determined that the chicken actually has some type of a cyst on its face. And I'm like, did you not just use the 8-shot remedy? Boom, done. See you, chicken.
The oxen did that.
Oh, no. Held it down.
Unbelievable.
Lanced the issue.
Hey, that's great.
Squeeze. It was Dr. Chicken Pimple Popper.
He ain't going to heaven. Nobody is.
Unbelievable. If works will get you there, Ash is your guy.
Brett, we need to take lessons, baby.
I've already told the big guy I want to stay here and just harass people.
No, you
Right.
take care of little buddies. That's what
Is that chicken still on the mend?
Yeah.
You would tell me that if that chicken was like dragging its head around, you would tell me.
No, chicken's in the house in its own cage for now, getting better.
we got to give him some for that.
Heat up the Crisco.
That's pretty doggone good.
Heat up the Crisco. I'm coming in with some drummies.
Oh, there's no meat on this chicken.
No,
She's pretty light.
Keep him as a buddy. Keep him as a buddy.
chicken didn't have any weight on it because it's got cancer.
Yeah.
You're prolonging it, lancing
We
it,
got a house chicken now.
radiation therapy. Unbelievable, brother.
We can figure out how to house break this chicken. We'll be making.
You
big
guys
bucks
want
down
to
the
hang
road.
tight, Brother Gary and Ralph are in. It is 8 o'clock. It's the
It
top
is.
of the hour here in Texas. We hope you guys have a great day. Be safe out there. Be careful on the roads. We would appreciate it